Oh, here I am. Here I am again, one of our favorite Riviera YouTuber, Tim Fountain, who has gracefully accepted my invitation to talk again today. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Mike. Your viewers must be getting sick of me by now.
Oh, they'll never get sick of Tim, especially
No.
now you're back equipped with a new tooth.
Okay, all right, it's a tooth after that gap. I mean, I was losing viewers hand over fist because of my gappy tooth.
Really?
But what was funny is when I first bit into this ruddy baguette 2 years ago and the tooth broke and I had to have it taken out, everybody made all these comments after the videos. Oh, you've got to get that tooth looked at. You look terrible. You look like Steptoe and Son, blah, 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 blah. Then, of course, 2 years later, when I finally find out a way of doing it cheaply enough to actually get it done, the comments are all, oh, we missed that gap because it gave you a certain rugged charm. You see, there's just no pleasing people.
Win. So how much cheaper? Because you didn't opt for France, you opted for Italy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot cheaper. I mean, I always say the minute you go over the border, everything's a third cheaper. The dental stuff, certainly implant stuff, compared to the quotes I was getting in Nice, was less than half price.
Wow.
Uh, so more, sorry, more than half price, if you know what I mean. So considerable saving. I mean, this implant was still, I think, 1,400 euros, but we were talking way over 3,000 in France. Now, it may not be exactly the same zirconian crown and straw imbit or what, all the
Yeah.
stuff. It may not be quite as posh. It may break and drop out, and it may prove to be a terrible error. But we shall see. And channel viewers are eagerly awaiting news. I'm sure they're just waiting for it to drop out, so they all say, "We told you so. You should have paid full money." But I'm from Yorkshire. Tough, tough to
Did you have
spend.
to have the stuff in your sinus to create another bit of bone?
No, I mean this is the
Oh.
interesting thing. Without going into too much detail, I have another couple that are going to have to be dealt with, and I think they're saying to me, then I'll have to have they sort of call it a gum transplant, but it's not really. It's like a bone transplant. It's like a bit of filler. But bizarrely, they thought they could do this first one without, and so they haven't. Now France did want to do that, and that was making the French process take a heck of a long time. Not least because I'd had to have a year of root canal, and there was a 6 month waiting list on the root canalist. So it would have been cheaper to go to Venice for a canal.
Wow. So we will watch progress. This could be interesting. This could be another episode as
I
they
think we'll definitely have a follow up. We don't. It's not. By the way, me and Mon Ami is not a tooth channel. If you're new here, it's only recently has it
it's
branched out
becoming
into medicals.
it's coming a tooth tube, not YouTube, tooth tube.
Exactly.
Anyway, now we're in August now. We'll tell viewers
Yeah.
that. So we're looking at things to do September, October. Have you got any bright ideas? What will you be doing September, October?
Well, we've already filmed one thing that we're doing, which yeah, I can't sort of can't let the cat out the bag because the cat out the bag comes out in this week's video. But is this going to come out this week? No, weekends
Yeah,
probably.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, okay, I can let the cat out the bag. We've got a sort of 4 part series coming up in which we, in our Fiat Grande Panda with its tent on the roof, go to the Gorge de Verdun, but we do it via a clothes optional camping site. So we go nude camping for the first time.
Ooh.
Uh, and I won't spoil it, but we made a few errors, a few rookie errors. Let's put it that way.
Did you expose too much?
Uh, we exposed too little at some stages and too much, definitely too much at others. There's protocol to these things. Even though the boulangerie, everyone is naked, and the butchers,
Really?
yeah, but there are other areas where a little sarong is required.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
fascinating. Oh,
I was fascinated because I mean we've been to sort of nude beaches, I love all that, but I'd never been to a sort of nude campsite. And of course, this it's one thing to be wandering around a campsite naked, fine, lovely, and it was boiling hot, so it was kind of a relief. But when you start and go in the shop and everyone's naked, you do have to. It takes a period to adjust that you're nipping into car four and the lady next to you's got no clothes on.
well, as long as you remember it when you leave the campsite to put the clothes on.
Yes, it's definitely not optional in Puget-Thenier, which is where the campsite is. It's a cracking campsite, I have to say, and really, it was great fun. Fun episode, fun series of episodes to film, but it's going to be a nightmare to edit because obviously the YouTube gods will make sure that we have to pixelate out.
Certain, certain things.
Going to be quite time consuming.
So, what would you recommend people do in September, October? What's good? Because we still got the sun. It's still relatively warm. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with our, our favorite thing and just explore some of those wonderful villages in the hinterland behind Nice. There are, and I'm not talking about, I mean, yes, Saint Paul de Fontenay and all that lovely, but there are so many others where you will go somewhere like Saint-Genis, absolutely beautiful. If you've got a really tiny car, you can even drive through it. There's a very good restaurant there. I think it's called the Bao de Saint-Genis. Well, the mountain's called that, and I think the restaurant's called the Restaurant de Bao or something like that. There's only a couple. But, I think those are wonderful things to do. If you can find the right restaurant, the right village, the right day, go there, have a hike, earn your lunch, have a bit of lunch, and then mooch around the village and come back and get away from the crowds. I mean, everybody knows this, but September, October to me are the nicest months here.
yeah.
Um, it's when I always put my Neil Diamond September Morn on every morning when I open the shutters. We get Neil singing September Morn, but Mr. Boo doesn't allow me to put it on in August.
Why?
Only
Oh,
September the
because it's
1st.
September.
It's September Morn.
A
Very traditional.
stickler for the words.
So those are the kind of things I love. I mean, obviously, I mean, still swim every day and try and swim every day up to Christmas, really.
Oh, no,
Although
you're a very
I'm a
brave
keen
soul.
swimmer. Yeah, I mean, it gets a bit tougher in November and December. If it's grey and a bit windy, it puts you off. But certainly September, October, it's fine.
I did enjoy your episode on following, and I thought, oh, this is an interesting one where you were following the pickpockets at Nice Station.
Yeah, I didn't intend to turn the channel into a vigilante channel or a tooth channel, but
You're a bit
basically,
Charles Bronson, are you?
yeah, I mean, I think anybody who's lived it for a long time has known that train between, particularly on a Friday morning, between Nice and Ventimille is a nightmare for pickpocketing. It gets very crowded, and people, I've known for 20 years that, so have you, people who have been pickpocketed. But then in the last few weeks, I've been doing these Grandi Panda tours in which I've taken out just subscribers for a couple of hours to Latter B and on sort of mountain drives like we do in the channel. Uh, and 2 out of 3 in 3 weeks, one had an attempt at pickpocketing, and she was a tough Liverpool lass and had given them what for. Uh, and the other couple who were very experienced, had been here so many times, they were completely pickpocketed. And I suddenly went, this is insane. Um, and what really intrigued me was the fact that they said, well, these cars were not skimmed, they were used contactlessly very quickly in Niceville. So I started to think, well, I don't think these pickpockets are even staying on the train. They're getting on the train when everybody's crowded on at Nice, and then they're getting quickly off with the cards and going to as many shops as they can and getting as much cash out as they can. Um, so we went to Niceville station with no expectation that we'd be able to spot the pickpockets. It took us about 3 minutes. I mean, it is if once you stand on the platform and don't think about the trade or don't think about you're on your holidays and start to just look for people acting suspiciously, it becomes blindingly obvious. I mean, literally, I was like, this is central casting. The behavior central casting. They'd come to the platform, they'd get on the train, they'd get off the train, they'd then go and hide behind the escalator, hide behind the lift. Then they had a lunch break because there was no train for an hour, and it just so happened so did we because there was no train for an hour. Lo and behold, they popped back up again in the station. The same group joined together into a team of about 7 by this point. Uh, and then afterwards, we came back home, still wondering, are we completely kidding ourselves about this? Mr. Boo types into the old TikTok pickpocket Niceville station, and there are TikTok videos of people who've obviously had attempt at pickpocketing with these very same girls. So, I know it is regarded as a low-level crime, and the courts may not punish and all the rest of it. But by God, it can spoil people's holidays and it can
Oh,
put
yeah.
people off coming to Nice. And Nice is a very safe place. I was saying in the video that in 20 years here, touch wood, I've never had a bike stolen. I've never had a burglary. I've never had a car broken into. In London, if you left your bike outside for 10 minutes, it was gone. I don't know a single person with an electric bike in London who hasn't had it stolen and has then had to get a sort of fold-up one to take into the office because the angle grind has come out and all that. Luckily, touch wood, we don't seem to have that on anything like that sort of scale. But I do think the pickpocketing now is I think I hate to use hyperbole, but I think it's pretty off the charts. I mean, it's just as you said, you talk to people, and it's just so many people it has happened to, and not just tourists, people who live here,
Oh
people who are
yeah.
experienced. It's not, and it's so easy. I mean, we walked into the Coastal Air yesterday, a big mistake. I said, let's go to the antique market. It was so crowded, it was so boiling hot. But we were doing exactly what I'd said in the video to people not to do. We had a couple of tote bags walking around, and of course, tote bags are so easy. The hand goes in, it's sort of at your side, off you go. Um, so anyway, you just hope that the police might just put somebody plain clothes on the station, and because you can spot these people in 5 minutes, and then stop and search, just watch them, let them do their stuff, and then stop and search. You've got them now. Obviously, whether you can detain them, whether you can ban them from coming to the station again. But it strikes me it's the same people. They're repeat offenders. They go about 3 years at least. We video
Oh
evidence
yeah.
of it 3 years.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not like we're looking at thousands of pickpockets. What we're looking at is thousands of crimes, I think, committed by a relatively small amount of pickpockets who are
It's always
operating
the
in gang.
way. Yeah.
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 So anyway, that's my off my moral high horse, but I just think it's a bit rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fascinating when you talk about that. Oh, so we didn't see Twiggy yesterday. Twiggy wasn't there. Is Twiggy well?
She's very well, yes. She's in fact she's fast asleep. Do you want to see Twiggy? So like, oh, I feel cruel waking up. Let's see. Hi, Twigs. Okay. Oh, she's definitely not happy to be woken up.
Oh
She's
no.
like a cat.
Oh
She just sleeps
no.
all day. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, Twiggy. How are you?
By
My
far the most
favorite.
popular thing around sounds like an
You're covering
lovely.
up your microphone, young man.
She's the first ever well-behaved Chihuahua. Our previous one was lovely, but she would, she'd bite me, she'd bite absolutely anyone. Whereas this one just loves everyone. She's completely the opposite.
What's it like having a dog on the Riviera? Is it an easy experience? I mean, we're talking about
I
going
think,
into
yeah,
shops and restaurants.
yes, it is. I mean, apart from supermarkets, you can't take them in, Carrefour, uh, and oddly art galleries and museums, even if you want offers.
I've seen them in Carrefour if you carry them.
I don't think big Carrefour market. I
Ah,
don't think
possibly.
so. Mr. Boo always says that he's pretty good at taking them in various places. He always says you can't take them in Carrefour. But you certainly can't take them in the art gallery, but you can't take a baguette in the art gallery in Nice. I found that out to my cost. I wasn't eating the baguette. I'd been to the Boulanger and we thought we were going to see the exhibition. It was coming to a close. And the security man, who I've never really got on with the security staff at that art gallery, so I'm glad it's shut for years. Uh, the real job's worth. It's run for them, not the customers, if you know what I mean. And he just said, "No, you can't bring that in, son." I said, "Well, I'm not going to walk around eating it. It's a baguette in a bag." No, can't. I said, "Well, can I put it in a locker?" No, you can't leave food in a locker. So I said, "What do I do with my baguette?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "So I can't go see your exhibition with a baguette. It's not possible. Or I have to throw my baguette away." Yes. At which point I think I got a bit mad and banged my baguette on the security machine. Said baguette broke. I'm probably going to get done for this. And I've not been back to the art gallery since. And now its foundations are crumbling, apparently.
Oh,
Apparently.
well,
I'm
interesting.
in a right rant today, Mike. I didn't notice. I'll try and be
Hilarious.
jollier.
That's hilarious. Have you been to any of the fetes in the villages like Rockerburn Old Town and things like that, where they
Yeah, I love those quirky things. I mean, we went to the I kept calling it the Slug Festival. It's the sort of snail festival in I was going to say Santa Agnes, not the other one. Um,
I can't remember the name either.
Above Monton, little village. That's the brain. It'll come back to me.
Not Pay.
But
Pay.
no, where Jilly lives in, no, it's gone. It's
Anyway,
gone. That's
carry on.
old age. But and it's just this wonderful sort of festival where everybody puts out a snail shell with a little bit of oil in it lit up at night, and there is this sort of slightly spooky um, uh, parade of the white penitents and all this. And they're kind of they're fascinating village traditions that just roll on here in a way that I think if you think in Britain, there's the odd cheese rolling contest in a certain town or
Yep.
meat pie contest or whatever. But I think for the large part, those things have gone. Whereas here, they do seem to carry on, and they're a bit repetitive. You've been once, you probably don't want to go again. But they're great once. They're great fun.
Well, there is a
Uh,
square bulls competition,
Square Bulls, yeah, Eau de
and there
Cagnes.
is the Sneesoir game. There's a sort of a hatch. I've never seen it played. Have you seen it played?
I've seen Square Bulls played.
Well,
In fact, in the old town of Nice, there is near where the big posh new Couvent Hotel has opened.
right.
There is a little. We passed it yesterday. It's like a little church, and it's not really a petanque pitch, but people do play square petanque in it.
Really?
Because the great advantage with square petanque is you don't need a big area. I think they invented it, didn't they? Because the pitch in I think it's over the Kenya is on a slope,
Uh-huh.
and so obviously your bulls would run away.
Makes sense. Have a square one then.
But yeah, there are those sort of fantastically weird. There's a specific term for them where they bring all the animals into the village, and they put them in, and they're not selling them anything. It's just sort of a festival of the animals, and the
Yeah.
goats come in, and the cheese and all that, and the cheese, the sheep.
Yeah.
Um,
I noticed, not giving away your trade secrets, but I saw some really nifty little animations of Mr. Boo on a jet ski and things like that, going from beach to beach. That beach
oh
thing
yeah,
was a really good episode. I'm not a beach person, but it actually made me want to go and look at the beaches.
there are. I mean, yeah, it's
How
funny.
do you do it?
There are some. I mean, there are just some wonderful beaches, particularly I think once you go sort of go Villefranche and then on to Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, there's just so many little secret ones. There's the well-known ones like Paloma and Plage de Passable and all that. But then as you go further around, you go to Plage des Fossettes, and the one next to it, which is almost similarly called Facette, but they're really adjoining each other. There's a lovely little cafe on the top there. Great. And even if you're not a sort of beach person, if you don't want to sit there, there's all the fantastic walks on the Sentier Littoral, round that. I think that's again a fantastic thing to do in the autumn, isn't it? Is the walks. I think people often underestimate how many great walks there are in the Riviera. It's not necessarily the toughest hiking stuff. I imagine real hikers think it's all a bit, easy. But there's some fantastic walks. I mean, even just the walk around Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat is you know terrific. It never grows old. Even just the simple walk. If you're not a great walker and you just want to do the David Niven walk from Beaulieu to the David Niven house into Saint John Village for lunch,
It's a great,
gorgeous. Yeah, gorgeous thing to do.
absolutely. Absolutely. But touching on the animations, how do you do that? Do you do those yourself? Mr. Boo do them?
There's an app, but within the app, you then have to do them. Mr. Vu used to do them, and and I couldn't do them. And so then I discovered this app, and again, of course, it's one of the things that just adds to the expense of the channel. But it's not, you're still having to feed it in and move the line and try and select the thing. So it's a bit time consuming, and particularly for the beach one, there were quite a lot of. I got carried away. I think I got overexcited with my subscription. But they're things that add to the channel. We try and make the channel as professional as we can. I mean, as you know, my background is professional entertainment, so
Yeah.
it's very hard to unlearn that when you've spent 30 years in the theatre making professional theatre or television and all, and or even writing books like I've done. It, it's very hard to go, okay, now I'll just make some really rubbish quality YouTube videos. I'm not saying we haven't made some when we started. Um, and sometimes with a YouTube video, you have to accept, like with the pickpocketing one, it's sort of undercover camera and we're filming a bit on the secret specs, that the quality is not what that's about. Then it's about getting there close, telling the story, revealing the secrets. Whereas if you've got a bit more time, you can send the drone up and film some beautiful footage of the village or wherever or Saint-Jean and make it look wonderful. But you can't do that with some pickpockets without a notice.
So, are you still using poor Elton?
Yes, we are. I mean, no, not in summer. I have to confess. I mean, I think regular viewers will know that our Citroen and me, the plastic car, we've loved. We drove it to Barcelona last year. It took us 3 weeks and one day, nearly killed us. But people love that series of films. The term "suffer for your art" comes to mind because it really, it is not meant to go that far. It is, there were times we were doing 5 charges in a day and all that kind of thing, which is insane. And there's no boot and there's no way we can camp in it. But the major problem is it gets so unbelievably hot. Anybody who's got a Citroen will tell you that no matter what you do with it in the summer, it is almost impossible to cool down here, especially once the temperature gets to about 30. So in previous years, we've sort of filmed these adventures, trying to carry on in August. And we do them, and that's great, and the audience love them. And the next day, we'd wake up ill because we literally had got heat stroke. And this consistently was happening. And eventually, Mr. Booth, I think, sort of said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just not doing it. Why am I making myself ill? You
No.
know, la, la, la. So Elton's just down the road resting for the summer season. But we do have plans for Elton. We'd like to mod him now. We think we're at the stage where we'd like to try and solve as many of those problems like the heat, because we've tried every sort of fan in there. It makes no odds. Yeah, fan just redistributes hot air. It's not, it doesn't get it cooler. And there is no aircon system, and there's no real room to put an aircon system. If you had an aircon system, you flatten the battery, which is already tiny anyway. So there are a lot of challenges before we drive it to Marrakesh. No, we're not doing that. But so we've got some big plans for the autumn, and we again we I don't want to spoil it, but we have a plan to do a major series which may involve us going right into Italy, and using the roof tent because we're loving the whole roof tent camping thing. We may not love it as much in the autumn when it gets windy and the tent blows away on top of the car.
But what happens when you want to go into town? You have to take all the tent down and put it back in
Well,
the.
you do, but when you say all the tent down, to be honest, it takes about 3 minutes.
Oh,
Literally, it folds like that. Now, I'm not saying I think that is the one drawback. It's a bit like a motorhome, is that unless you've got a secondary vehicle, a motorbike or whatever, you are having to some extent pack stuff up. But in that roof tent, it just goes down. The only thing you're taking out are the lights, and the electric cabling into it. But what we would like to do is probably just take a little fold-up bike, which we've got anyway, so that if you want to go to the shop, you can nip on that. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting when we do a longer journey to see just whether that does get you down, that element. The thing that the roof tent does do is it means you can pull up at a campsite, open it, you can be set up in 5 minutes, and you can go away in 5 minutes. Whereas with the ground tent, even though it was inflatable and meant to be quick to inflate, it's still a lot longer hammering tent pegs in, and you're on the ground. And if it's rained, then the next day you can't really pack the tent up because it's all wet, so you're waiting for it to dry out. The roof tent, wham bam, shut the lid, off to the next venue, in theory. I'm a
well,
great believer in gadgets.
no, well, I saw you went a bit potty the other day, and oh, where was it? Decathlon. You had your
Oh, I
potty for
love it.
sale.
Decathlon gets me far too excited. It's like I can never. It's like the IKEA of outdoor pursuits, isn't it? You go in for a candle and you come out with a sofa. It's got that. But I think it's a terrific shop because it's really good value. It's accessible. It's often really well designed. Our roof tents from Decathlon. It's about half the price of the more expensive brands, and thus far it seems to be really well. It's really well thought through. I mean, it
But did you
is.
buy the potty?
I didn't, but I might yet press the button online. The little porta potty. It was probably only for the gag though, because with the best will in the world, I don't think we're going to
Well,
carry a
because you
porta
need
potty around.
enclosures, surely, unless you. Uh,
Yeah, we're not going to put it on the roof. I'm definitely not going to the toilet on the roof of a Fiat Grande Panda. Actually, that's a good idea. I might.
just out the
It's a
side.
TikTok video. It's those TikTok videos I never make and keep meaning to. So, I
Oh,
always think I'm
oh,
too old.
fascinating. Oh, well, is there anything else you would like to talk about in the autumn or something like that? Or
Well, I say sound holding back on giving away the
no,
secrets
we
really,
can't
but
do that.
we've a big two big expeditions coming,
Wow.
and that'll probably take us right through into the spring. Um, but we like to just sort of pack everything up and get in the car and try and get to somewhere over a period of time and just see what unfolds, really. Because travel is travel, and unless you're in a fantasy land, things go wrong, and sadly, the more things go wrong, the more the viewer enjoys
Well,
it.
that's the idea.
But as I say, we have to suffer so they enjoy it.
It's called
Uh,
Schadenfreude.
it is exactly. Well, it's like we got the Grande Pandy and we had the puncture on day one or whatever. The bump on day one, the puncture on day four. I think. It was all the Citroen de Me owners were going. Well, that serves you right for getting a proper car. But
Well, I think we've come to the end of our time, sadly. I could go on
lovely.
all day, actually, Tim, thoroughly enjoying it. So can I say a really big thank you to you once again for all the laughter. I've really enjoyed this. It's made my day.
Good.
And so,
Good.
well, shall we leave it with and say thank you? And
Yeah.
bye.
Thanks for watching and putting up with me again. And check out me and Monomy on YouTube if you want to. Every Sunday 6:15, there's a new slice of magic.
Okay, we'll leave it. Don't forget the big smile while I find the off button.
I'll keep smiling with my new tooth, you see.
Yeah, right.
Look, I can do it.
Bye,
Look,
Tim.
look,
Bye.
tooth.